I'm going to remove these lights because we're going to be putting in a set of LCI lights. And this is what the inside of the car looks like now. Oh!
We love the Beamers, the Benz, the Porsches. All of my fans are now they're supporting. Style with nothing but look at us now. Whoever supporting, I'm making you proud. Whoever supporting, I'm making you proud. Salvage nation, look at the squad. We're up in the foreign line, look at the car. Look at the car.
Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a cold and miserable Sunday morning here in London, but I am so excited I couldn't sleep. It's just gone 7 AM and I've come in on a Sunday morning to get started on this build because Akil's not here today. I've got the garage to myself and I can take my time and begin the tearing down process on my mega cheap BMW 118. If you're new to the channel, this is a little car that I picked up for a very, very good price. If you haven't seen episode 1, go check it out. I'm going to be stripping this car down, getting this 118 engine out of here. I'm going to be retrofitting a B58 engine, and I'm going to be facelifting the front, facelifting the rear, and I'm going to be adding some other top spec items to really, really transform this 118i. And then by the end of it, I should have a fully functioning BMW M140i, but it's going to be M140 plus, put it that way. I've got big plans for this build, so I just wanted to get started. The ramp next door is in use at the moment, but for today I can go ahead and get all of the bumpers off, the doors, etc, etc. We're just going to be blitzing this one out. I'm going to see how much of it I can get through, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. But before we get onto that, I want to do some diagnostics, and I actually charged up the battery. I got it cranking. I want you guys to hear it because yeah, the engine on this car is definitely broken, and we're going to be sorting that out. But for now, let's crank it up. I want you to hear it. That's crazy, literally no compression. So guys, you see, the engine is no good. I'm actually doing a massive favor to this car by restoring it, replacing the engine with a better engine. And trust me, by the time this car is done, it's gonna look amazing, it's gonna sound amazing, and I'm confident it's gonna drive amazing also. Oh guys, this thing is so heavy. Oh, I'm excited to see what this is. So when these guys told me that they're launching their new diagnostic tool, asked me if I wanted to check it out, I was more than happy to do so. I really like the rugged case that it comes in. If you're out and about in the garage, trust me, you're gonna need that. So it comes with all these different connectors for connecting it to different cars. That looks like it's a different type of charger. You can charge it from a battery, you can charge it from the 12-volt cigarette lighter gauge. It comes with some instructions. I'll block out my details there, but this is your activation code card. Now guys, this is a pro level diagnostic tool, and if you're like me and you work on a lot of cars, trust me, you need a good solid diagnostic tool that you can depend on, because a lot of these cars come from the auctions or wherever you get it from, or even if you're just driving, they always throw codes, lights, and you need to know what you're doing. Handle right here that you can have it kind of propped up, or the screen is massive, it's touch screen, it's got Wi-Fi capabilities, and once you activate it, you get free updates, etc, etc. Looking at it, this is the home screen. You've got diagnostics, you've got intelligent diagnostics where it reads the car and it does everything for you. It selects the make, model, etc, etc. You've also got maintenance, TPMS, that is your tire pressure sensors reset function. But what I'm interested in is, I'll give it a go with just the intelligent diagnostics, and it's looking for the VIN. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I'll plug this into the car. I want you guys to see the screen to see exactly what's going on. So guys, straight away it's found the car. I want to just do a quick diagnostic scan and bring up any codes that this car might be having. Let's see what it brings up. It's actually capable of coding. A lot of you guys always ask, what do I use to code? I use quite a lot of launch products, but I'm really happy to see that this has come up and this is able to code. But for now, what I want to do is do a health report. Have a look at that. That is super quick. All the red ones means that they're codes. So as you can see, so under voltage, standard, have a look at all of these codes. So it says flex relay, communication faulty, clear the codes, see what comes back. So guys, as you can see, it's gone ahead and cleared all the codes, which is worrying. That means that the engine has got some sort of mechanical issue as opposed to something that's throwing a code. Unfortunately, I reckon that's confirmed myself and Akil's first thoughts. If it was something more to do with the software side of things or something fixable, I feel like it's more mechanical. Something in the engine is definitely broken. Obviously, it's got no compression. That's why it sounds so whiny when you try to crank the car. It's got no compression, and yeah, I reckon that the engine's got a broken piston somewhere and it's done the rods. Something's gone on the engine, and that's why we're getting it out. So I'm actually doing this car a massive favor by fitting it with a new power plant. But anyway, remember, if you guys want to pick one of these up, or if you want to pick up any diagnostic tools from KINGBOLEN Tools, go check them out, click the link down below, use the discount code down below as well. You will see it on the screen right now, and enjoy that little discount from us to you. Right, let's pack this all away and get started with disassembling this car. Okay guys, so we're about half an hour in. Have a look over there, zoom that in for you. I've managed to remove the broken headlight on one side, a perfectly good headlight on the other side. The airbox, I've got a nice set of alloys. Check out these alloys, guys. If any of you guys are interested in purchasing these alloys, they're diamond cut, they're in very good condition. Some of them's got just a little bit of curb rashing right there on the side. But if I step back, it's still in good condition. The tires are really good, Bridgestone all round. The rears have got no damage. I will be selling these. Drop me a DM, drop me a comment down below, or drop me a DM if you're interested. You've got a busted radiator. It's not worth doing anything with this rad, so I'll take off some of the plastics. I think I need some of the plastic bits. And the M140 rad has got some broken bits on it, so I'll transfer some of them. I'll throw out the others. But have a look. I'll leave the wings on because I'm going to be using the wing panels. I'm going to go ahead and remove the bonnet. If anyone's interested in a bonnet, have a look at this bonnet. There's no damage on the bonnet. All F2021s, the bonnets are all the same. So if you're doing a build and you're in need of a bonnet, drop me a DM. Once again, this is for sale. Now have a look, this engine is definitely going to come out, and bear in mind guys, I've done this already on the M140 months and months ago, so I'm very excited with what I'm seeing because everything is exactly the same. BMW are not silly. When these frames, chassis, shells, whatever you want to call it, when they come off the factory line, they're made exactly the same. Based on the model of car that they're making, and then they'll add whatever components they need. But I know for a fact, this is empty right here. But on the M140, there's a rubber grommet in there, and the expansion tank kind of fills this whole gap. It hooks on here on the side, and it plugs into a little rubber grommet there, like I said. Everything that I'm seeing is exactly the same. They utilize the same parts, guys. So this is why, when I've done my research, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to pull this off. Have a look at this lower subframe. It's exactly the same subframe. From what I can see, I don't know if the power rating is the same. However, that steering rack is an electronic steering rack. Have a look at it there. It looks exactly the same. It's got the same number of plugs, etc., etc. So once again, I am very happy with what I'm seeing. So guys, I think I'm making some great progress. Let me know what you think so far. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and remove the bonnet. Then we're going to go to the rear of the car. I'm going to remove some of the rear end stuff before moving on to the interior, and I want to get that dashboard out. If any of you guys are interested in the F21 pre-facelift dashboard, I've got a complete airbag kit from this car. Once again, that's going to be for sale. Whatever you see on this car that you want to purchase or you're interested in, drop me a DM and I'll let you know if it's for sale or not. But with all of that said, let's crack on. Guys, I'm bracing myself for the amount of people in the comments that are gonna say, this is a waste of time, he can't do it. Let me know in the comments right now, do you think I can do it? Do you think by the end of it, this is gonna be a fully functioning car with a B58 power plant? Let me know. Now guys, when I pulled apart the 140, I had to bag all the nuts and bolts up. Now that I'm disassembling this car, what I'm going to try to do as much as possible is replace all the nuts and bolts exactly where I took them from, because this is the functioning car. So when it comes time to reassembly, I'll have everything in its correct order and place. I have to remove these wiper blades because this scuttle panel's got to come off so that I can access all the mechanisms and components which are hidden beneath. And I feel like I'm flying through this because I've done it already. Alright guys, so scuttle panel is off. This is my wiper regulator. Now I've got the same part from the M140. I've just double checked the part number, it's exactly the same. But I'm still going to try to swap out as much as I can, unless it's something that's really a pain. I've even got the brake booster because I'm sure that it's going to be at a higher rating than this standard one. So I've got the brake booster, all the brake pipes, everything. I've noticed that if I look over here, I've compared the picture to this one. It's definitely a much bigger, much beefier ABS pump on the M140, and it's actually got some extra wires. It's set up slightly different. So what I went ahead and done, I preempted that. So I've got all the brake pipes, everything, all the components for the brake system from the M140, so that I'm gonna have stopping power for the massive power increase on this little 118. By the time I'm done with this, it's not gonna be a 118 anymore. I know I keep saying it, but I just wanted to stress that point. So I feel like I'm happy with what I've done on the front for today. Like I said, I showed you a picture and a video in the first episode. I'm gonna drop the engine, the subframe, the suspension, everything as one big lump. It's really easy. So that's all I need to do on the front. What I wanna do now is remove the bumper on the rear. I'm gonna remove these lights because we're gonna be putting in a set of LCI lights. I might test fit them today actually and show you what it looks like. You know what? I've got the bumper. I might go ahead and test fit them. I'm going to be removing this as well, and I'm going to show you guys how to remove one of these without cutting into these wires. It's really simple, really easy. And then the last thing I'm going to do for today is going to be quite a long episode. I want to remove this dash. If I can get this dash out today, I'll be happy. So, no more talking. Let's go. Guys, I'm tired. It's a lot of work, but we're gonna power through. Now check this out. I went ahead and removed the rear seats and all the paneling from the rear. That's because I need to remove all of those modules. I've got all of those modules, all the wiring, everything from the other M140, which is gonna go into here and add a ton of features to this car. But like I said, this car was well spec'd. I've got a set of rear partial shelf speakers. So if any of you guys want to get a set of speakers, these are the equivalent of what you would get with the Harman Kardon. It's just the Harman Kardon is rated a little bit higher. These are the hi-fi speakers, because this car was loaded with the hi-fi, and it's kind of like medium range. So the Harman Kardon is the full-blown, really loud system. This is kind of like one step above standard. It's actually got a little amplifier in there. And if you've got a car that's got that, you can replace these. And if you haven't got a car that's got them, you can add these speakers to the rear parcel shelf, and you just need to wire it into the rear speakers, or just wire it into some sort of speaker signal. And trust me, it makes a huge difference for the kind of audio quality of the car. But I'm going to be replacing these with Harman Kardon shelves, so I have no use for them. Another thing that I've noticed is, I thought this was an insurance job when I first got it. I thought, okay, the engine is blown and someone's just had a little bump in the front. But coming here, there's a bump in the rear, and it seems a lot worse than I thought. So it actually looks like a genuine accident. Someone's bumped them in the rear, bumped into the front of whatever car was ahead, and it's just got a double ender. But I'm gonna have to put the body jack up against the chassis there, just give that a little pull before we reassemble the car, but I can do that later on. But that's just this area I need to repair because it's not sitting properly. You can see that little kink right there in the rubber, and this area needs to just be pushed out a little bit, ever so slightly, and that is going to be good as new. What else do I want to show you? Check this out. Now all the cloth seats are coming out. They're in actually good condition, so if you need a set of seats, let me know. For BMW 1 Series, they're cloth and they're in good condition. Have a look at that. Now all of these panels here, this is for the pre-facelift, so they look the same as the facelift cars, but there's small subtle differences which will not fit a facelift bumper. I've also got to remove these bumper guides at the side, and I've got the ones for the facelift, and obviously I've got the facelift lights. If any of you guys want to do a rear end facelift, I've done this on my BMW M135i in the past, and a lot of you guys kept asking, what do you need? You need to repin these wires. There's 5 wires in this connector. You need to repin them because they're going to be slightly different once you do the coding, and you need to change this one, the middle one, the one on the other side, and obviously the lights and the tailgate, and that's going to be all good. But I'm going to get these off, get the tailgate off, and then I'm going to just continue with the interior. I need to remove the center console, the front seats, etc., and then we can start to wrap up. But still a ton of work. Let's continue. Alrighty guys, things are starting to get a little bit interesting. Like I showed you, I removed all the paneling from the rear. I'm happy with that. I came in as well, removed all the rear seats, and as you can see, I've removed the top paneling to expose everything that's on the roof. Now I've got a complete wiring loom from the M140, and the only thing that I'm a bit concerned about is I want to maintain the functionality of the roof. Now the 140 didn't have a sunroof, so there's not going to be the wiring necessary for that, and that was something I was always a bit worried about. So let me go around to the other side. I've just taken off that paneling and I've seen the wiring, and it actually is a lot more simple than I expected. As you can see, this is the sunroof mechanism. It's bolted onto the roof of the actual car. Now if you come here, I was looking to see where it gets its power from. So this is the motor that controls that sunroof, and it's only got one plug. So I started to follow these wires, and you can see it joins the big wiring loom right here. But when I looked at all the colors, This is the socket, this is the plug for these particular colors, and it matches. So the green, the blue, the yellow and green, and they're all in there, it matches. So this is just a single plug. Unless I'm mistaken, I should be able to just cut the tape that's holding that into the major wiring loom, just isolate these wires here, and I should be able to retain this. And if I use the same panel that came with this car, it looks like to me, those thick wires is the plus and negative right there. I don't know if you can see that. You've got two really, really big wires. That normally signifies that it's transmitting the power. So I reckon that these two wires are giving the power for the motor, and obviously the other two are going to be the signal wires. Now if I get this panel in, this panel here, these buttons, this is the switch to open that roof. And I'm assuming on the M140, it hasn't got this plug. It hasn't got this extra socket right here in the middle because it hasn't got this button. And if it hasn't got this button, obviously it's not going to have the plug. But if I retain this unit and then do some coding in the car, that's why I love working on BMWs. BMWs, they make it very easy to add and remove things. I should be able to just add the additional coding that's needed. And once I recode the entire car with the new modules from the M140, then fingers crossed, I should be able to retain that functionality. Guys, look at this mess, but it's a good mess. Come check it out. Take a look at this. We have got a project on our hands. Let that focus. 2:20. I came in at 7 o'clock this morning. It's now 2:20, but so far, in all of that time, I managed to tear down the front end. We've got the front bumper. I'm gonna throw that. It's broken, it's damaged. Front slam panel, I'm gonna take a few bits off that, then I'm gonna throw the rest. The engine, I noticed whilst it was up, have a look, all that oil is leaking out somewhere, so this engine is definitely toast. We're gonna be dropping that, as I said, but we've gone ahead and torn down the entire front end thus far, and I'm happy with what I'm seeing there. Have a look at all of this junk. Remember guys, I'm gonna be selling those alloy wheels. I went on the interior, we took out this center console. I managed to get out I managed to get the dashboard out. Now, sorry for all the dust. I was trying to get you some nice drone shots and the drones just kicked up a whole bunch of dust. But have a look, the dash is out. Those seats, once again, they've got a bit of dust on them now, but they're in very good condition. If anyone needs seats, let me know. And this is what the inside of the car looks like now. I think I'm gonna take a pause on that for today. I've still got to remove all the wiring loom. This center console bit has to come out. All the carpets needs to come out. There's still a lot of work, but I feel like I've done quite a lot for today. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. The rear end has been disassembled as well. And before I go, I did say that I wanted to just do a quick little lineup with the LCI bits to see how everything is looking. But first, I want to try to get the body jig. I'm going to get the body jack, just hook it up on that side and just try to put a little bit of pressure here just to see. This is normally thin metal. I just want to see if this is going to respond. If I can see it coming out, then I'll continue. If it doesn't, then I'll just leave it. And maybe we have to put it on the dozer or something a bit more strong. But I've gone ahead and I've gotten the rear subframe. I went ahead and I got the rear boot off of my own M4. I went ahead and got the LCI tailgate off of my own M140. If you remember, I rebuilt this car and that's off to Barbados. I've just installed this wing onto this car and I didn't want to send that and then buy another one. I can buy another one later on. So I've just swapped. I've put the one on the breaker stock onto that one before it went, and I've got this and some other bits off of that car to fit on to this car because this is going to be my daily driver. So I'm going to slap that on, and then these are the old lights. These are the LCI lights. Now the shape of the LCI lights. Now guys, the reason I want to show you this is, even though this is a 2011 car, the chassis, the shell of this car is exactly the same up until the current model. Obviously, in 2019, they changed over to the newer style BMWs, but when they come off the factory line, like I said earlier, it's exactly the same shell. And that's, you know, this is going to be proof of all of that. So let me just go tidy up a bit, and then we're going to test fit the rear and try to pull that, and then we can start to wrap up. So, let's go. Guys, there you have it with a little bit of messing around. Look at that now. Perfect. All the gaps feel fine. No high spots or low spots. All the gaps all around look fine as well. And that's closed. And I've gone ahead and refitted the rubber, so you have to make sure that you've got the rubber on before you make any more adjustments. I'm happy with that. So, out comes this one. And now I can concentrate and admire the M140 boot lid. That is working, that's closing, and that is fitted. Let's open this up, pop the lights in, and see what's going on. See what I want? Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah! We're getting there. Oh! Guys, it's starting to look a lot like a 140. Alright you guys, take a look at the rear end now. You've just seen everything that I've done, so I don't need to say anymore, but I'm happy. I started to get really tired. I was just like, oh, this is long. And then I've just seen it and it's just given me a second lease of life. It's now gone 3 p.m. I've been here since 7. I'm gonna wrap up this episode here and I'm gonna continue working So you're gonna have to stay tuned for episode 3 on this car. In episode 3, I wanna concentrate on the interior. I need to lift that carpet and I need to basically remove every single module, every single bit of wiring from the interior of the car and get it prepped for taking it next door, where we're gonna drop the major components such as the engine, suspension, etc, etc. Once that's done, I'm gonna have a clear palette to start building with all the 140 bits, and yeah, that's where it's gonna get interesting. It's all fitting right now, so we know the physical dimensions are all the same. I just need to make sure that the software side of things can tally up, and also the wiring side of things. I need to make sure that everything tallies up, and hopefully I can get everything working, get everything all situated. So if you want to see how we get on with that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this, and a lot of you guys watch my content regularly, but you're not subscribed, please, it helps me to help you. So subscribe to the channel. Thank you for rocking with me. And this is where we're gonna head off. So like I always say, keep it moving, and I'll see you in the next one. You're gonna wait a few days, but for me, I'm gonna crack on right now. So can't wait to show you what I get up to. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you check out one of my previous videos on the left? There's plenty in the playlist. And if you want to know more about the Salvage game, why don't you become a member of Salvage Nation, and I'll be there to guide you along the way. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram if you want to get an inside scoop before YouTube.